Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I share the?
Yeah, 1 minute. I'll just introduce 1 second. I have to use the screen sharing. Yes. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji and Matajis, thank you for joining. I hope you have finished your 16 rounds today morning. And if you have not, you can stop for now and let us hear to Bhagavad Katha by His Grace Santosh Aditya Prabhu. Santosh Aditya Prabhu has been with our satsang for close to 3 years now. 3 plus actually. I have known Prabhuji for some more little time than that. And Prabhuji is a very dedicated soul. He wants to share Krishna consciousness to the world and do his part for the mission of Srila Prabhupada. So I'm very excited to hear today's Srimad Bhagavat Katha. It's not about who is the speaker today. It's never like that. Bhagavatam is Amala Puran, spotless Purana. Anybody who recites it, will get purified himself and will be able to purify others. That is the greatness of Bhagavatam. So another thing is that tomorrow, Sunday, now that we have we have both Saturday and Sunday, we have decided to have these morning sessions. Devotees have really asked if we want to like this Saturday and Sunday to start this way. So we have Saturday and Sunday and also an Ekadashi in a month, right? And Sundays especially, what we are doing is we are calling for some very, very amazing souls, to come and share their Krishna conscious realizations with us. Tomorrow it is His Grace Varada Krishna Prabhu, who is the temple president of Bangalore ISKCON, and also one of the temples in ISKCON Bangalore, and is also a temple president kind of role, which is called HTMC role in Hyderabad. So in the same way, the following week, there is Sitaram Prabhu, and the following week there is Vedant Chaitanya Prabhu, and the following week there is Madhusudan Vishnu Prabhu, who is a very senior devotee from ISKCON Mira Road in Bombay. So I'm trying to line up the best of the speakers so that we can get the Sangha. Why are we doing this? Why are we having so many speakers? Why are we having so many Bhagavatam sessions? Is somebody should be able to wake us up. That's the whole point, right? I mean, we don't know who is going to wake us up. We are still in a slumber, Ajnana Timirandasya, right? We are totally in slumber. So don't lose these opportunities. It is Krishna is sending these souls in your life, including the regular Bhagavatam speakers in our satsang and these extraordinary personalities who are coming from outside. They are coming and they are going to give us an opportunity to learn about Krishna consciousness, right? So don't miss these sessions. It's very difficult to get their association to schedule anything like that. So once again, let us welcome His Grace Santosh Aditya Prabhu with 3 loud Hari Bols. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Yes, Prabhuji, all over to you. Thank you, Prabhuji, for choosing to tell Bhagavad Katha to all of us today. Hare Krishna. And I humbly request, don't chant when the Bhagavatam class is going on, so that that will be like Nama Parad while you're hearing and also chanting. Give it time. Today is a Saturday. You can spend time for chanting later if some rounds are left. Let's hear Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me, Prabhu? Is it audible?
Can you be a little louder, Prabhuji? We can't hear you as much.
Is it audible now, Prabhuji?
Yeah, it is being recorded. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu, it is audible.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajadana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा लघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदा सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायण नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजनेहालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरक्षे नमः नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गो ब्राह्मणिकाय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चातदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे उत्तम करोति वाचालं पंगं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातं तं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं सभयं शुचि विष्णु कृष्ण नित्यलीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपद परिवदाचार्य अष्टोत्र तथा श्री श्रीमती डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत श्रील स्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमानंद परिवदाचार्य अष्टोत्र श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भागवतम की जय नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय मथुरा धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी की जय संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल ऑल ग्लोरी टू all glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to assembled devotees all glories to Sri Guru. So today first of all I would like to thank the His Grace Lilananda Prabhu and Anu Mataji for kindly giving me opportunity to speak something about Srimad Bhagavatam, and they are nurturing me in the devotional service. I also sincerely thank Giriraj Prabhuji, without whose encouragement, I would not have chosen this topic. He encouraged me to continue with this topic. I was also humbly pay obeisances to Uday Prabhu, Praveen Prabhu, Subara Prabhu, and all the other assembled devotees who directly or indirectly helping me in my devotional service. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji and Mataji. So, today we will be seeing the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. What are the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam? Especially the verses 1, 2, and 3 of Canto 1. So we will in that we will be mainly dealing with the verse 1.1.1, where Prabhupada has explained about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in essence, what is the glories of Bhagavatam? Say in purport of 1.2, he says, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, then immediately you will realize God, the Supreme Lord Krishna. So just like, as you know, a big banyan tree. There is a big banyan tree. That big banyan tree comes from a small seed. The entire banyan tree is fitted into the small seed. Just like that, the entire Bhagavatam, the entire glories of Srimad Bhagavatam are packed inside the first verse. This first verse is the seed of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So it gives the entire glory of the subject matter. So in this session, we will see the commentaries of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, explanations of the Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Prabhupada, as explained by Balram Shakti Prabhu and Gauranga Das of Govardhan Eco Village. I'm simply repeating what they have explained to me in one of the sessions. So here we are dealing with the commentaries of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So what does Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says? So this first verse has 5 layers of understanding, 5 ways of understanding the first verse itself. So in this session, we will see all the 5. We'll try to see all the 5 explanations which Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is going to give to us. So the first one. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadesya Yato Anvaya Itarascharteshva Abhignaswara Tene Brahma Hude Adikavaye Mukyanti Yat Suraya Esho Vari Mrudam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Tisargo Amnusha Brahmana Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimai. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, Son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because He is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes, creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and He is independent because there is no other cause beyond Him. It is He only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By Him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of Him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reactions of the 3 modes of material nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon Him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of material world. I meditate upon Him, for He is the absolute. So, any Vaishnava book, any scripture, any scriptures starts with a Mangalachara. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 1.22 says, the invocation involves three processes: defining the objective or Vastu Nirdesha, discovering, offering of benedictions or Ashirvada, offering obeisances, Namaskara. These are the three components of a Mangalacharana: Vastu Nirdesha, Ashirvada, and Namaskara. So we will see what is the Vastu Nirdesha, what is the object of glorification here. So any scripture glorifies a certain object. So in Vaishnava philosophy, so Vaishnava scriptures, so naturally you will say that. So in a Vaishnava scriptures, only Vishnu is glorified. So what is the difference in it? So difference is which form of Vishnu is glorified. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Vastu Nirdesha, Chaitanya Charitamrita is given in 1.3, where the object of glorification is Lord Chaitanya is a supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 appearances. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says Vishnu as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a supreme personality of Godhead. Like that, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.1 says Vishnu as Krishna. It's Krishna, Akila Rasamrita Krishna. This Krishna is a possessor of all the rasas. We know that Madhuri Rasa, Dasi Rasa, Saki Rasa, all the rasas are owned by this Akila Rasamrita Krishna. So this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is glorifying Vishnu as Akila Rasamrita Krishna. So now this Bhagavatam, first verse, also gives the object of glorification. So what is the object of glorification here? It is not giving one object of glorification. We will see what are the objects which Srimad Bhagavatam is trying to glorify over here. First is this Bhagavatam is establishing Bhagavan as the object, Bhagavan as the vastu of the book. We say Bhagavan, Satyam Param Dhimahi. Satyam, Parama Satyam is absolute truth. Dhimahi means let us meditate. So let us meditate upon the absolute truth, Krishna. So the truth, generally we speak about truth. Truth is, I am a young man. So presently it is a truth that I am a young man. But after 30 years, I may not be young. I will become old. So the truth changes. So the truth also, there are certain truths that also changes according to time and space. This laptop is here. That means it is not with you. So this laptop is only present here. It cannot be present at your end. So the absolute truth, ordinary truth is valid till restricted to time and space. But Krishna, the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan, is the Supreme Lord because he is beyond time and space. That is Satyam Paraman. Let us meditate upon the Supreme Bhagavan. Janmadasya Yatayo Anvaya Itarasya. Janmadasya Yataha. Who is the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction of this thing? This Supreme Lord Bhagavan is the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction. In Bhagavad Gita, we'll see. We have seen that he is the cause of all causes. He sits in our heart, and he is the cause of all causes. So similarly, that Bhagavan Krishna, we are meditating upon. Here, a small example is given. So, Sridhar Vishwanath Chakravarti gives a small example that a potter makes a certain kind of pot by taking mud. So there is a wheel, there is a mud, and there is a potter. So this potter takes the mud, spins the wheel, and forms a pot. So this wheel and mud is called material cause. It is a material cause. These are the materials which are using. Mud is a material, but the wheel is not the cause. The mud is not the cause of the pot. It is the potter who is creating the pot. He is the effective cause. Similarly, Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, he is the cause of creation, maintenance, and the destruction. So, as we have seen, as we have already learned, that Vyasadeva, so he took the four Vedas. He segregated the four Vedas. So four Vedas: Yajur Veda, Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda. So after that, he has written Vedanta Sutra for easy understanding. Small. Janmadi Yashadva. So which he elaborated based on the instructions of Narada Muni. So this became the Srimad Bhagavatam. So our natural commentary of Vedanta Sutra is Srimad Bhagavatam. So here we can clearly see the Janma Vedanta Sutra is being explained by Vyasadeva. And the second is as the material in efficient cause. As we have seen, example of a potter. This Bhagavan Krishna, he is the cause, he is the material and efficient. He is the creation of the material. He also creates the every element. So here another Vedanta Sutra, the two Samanvaya, is also explained by Vedavyas. The next is Arteshu Abhigna Swarat. Arteshu Abhigna. Since he is the only knower of all objects, Swarat, and the only independent being. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is the only knower of all the objects. Because he is the creator. Because one who creates is a knower. As Prabhuji once as we have seen in SSR session. So one who is a creator is a knower. We have seen the quality of a description of a God. So Arteshu Abhigna means he is the only knower. Krishna is the only knower. And he is the Swarat. Here Vedanta Sutra 1.5, it is Ikshate Nashabdam. So people generally think that Brahman is impossible to describe. They say it is so huge that we cannot describe it. But we can see in the Shastras where Brahman, the qualities of Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan are clearly elaborated, are described. So clearly Supreme Lord can be described by Shastras. That is what the Swarat here implies. Independent being. Tene Brahma Hrudaya Adi Kavaye. Tene Brahma means who revealed the Vedas. Adi Kavaye to the Brahma. First Kavi is the Brahma. Hrudaya within his mind. So as we know this past time. So Krishna has revealed all the Vedas to the Brahma. So many of the people who are non-devotees or outside the Sampradaya, they say that this entire material world is created by Brahma. Brahma is the original creator. Brahma is the father. But that is refuted here by Sri Krishna here in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is refuted. Brahma is not the cause of the creation. Brahma is the secondary cause. The primary cause is Krishna, who imparted that knowledge into heart of the Brahma. We may think that how Brahma did he enroll into any institution? No, it is not like that. Brahma got the instructions to create the material world by transfer of knowledge from mind to mind. It is a mind-to-mind transfer. So here clearly Brahma is not the creator. He is a secondary creator, and Bhagavan Sri Krishna is the creator, is being established. Even the Vedanta Sutra 1.16 is the same thing. Muhyanti yat suraya, who is difficult to understand even for the learned. So it is many people again from this Apasampradaya says that perhaps Brahma has realized the knowledge by sitting on the lotus. He meditated and he realized the knowledge entirely by himself. These are the statements which we hear regularly, generally. But no, it's not like that. The Brahma, even as you see in the Brahma Vimohan Veda, even Brahma is bewildered. Indra is bewildered. So in many of the cases, so many demigods, all the things are bewildered. So understanding Krishna is difficult, but it's not difficult for a devotee. So devotee is never confused that Krishna is in a material form. Devotee is always convinced. But it is difficult for a person who is a non-devotee or from a Apasampradaya to understand. That is even difficult to understand. So here clearly it says that Brahma has no independent power to create the universe. Ejo vari mridam yada vinimayo yatta trisargo amrusha. Yatta trisargo, whose body is thought to be the matter of made of matter. Amrusha, due to illusion. Tejo vari mridam yada vinimayo, just as one mistakes fire, water, and earth for each other. So we all have experience of mirage. So when we see in a hot sunny day on the roads, we see water. Oh, is water there? No. The heat in terms of fire in the form of heat, and land in terms of earth in terms of road, then they mix each other. It creates a third element of illusion called water. Actually, water is not there. It is a creation of illusion by combination of this fire and earth. So similarly, there are different combinations of these elements which creates illusion. So see, thinking like that, we think that Krishna's form is a material. So in the first sloka we have seen Satyam Parama Dhimahi, means we should meditate upon this Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So when we are meditating upon Krishna, we should think that Krishna has a form. So when Krishna has a form, we will think that Krishna has a material form. But it is not like that. Only the demons think that the Krishna's body is material. But a devotee is always convinced. Amna Svena Sada Nirastakuham. And who negates all the false arguments regarding his existence. So his existence is body. Avajananti Mamuda, he said. So whenever Krishna descends in this world, the Mudas, the demons think that his body is like the human form of body, but his body is different. Sada Svena Damna, by possessing a transcendental, inconceivable form, and by the strength of the devotees experiencing him through the Sarupa Shakti. Because of his Sarupa Shakti, because his transcendental form, a devotee is always convinced. He is not at all baffled. But a non-devotee cannot understand this. A human cannot understand all these things. So here, the Vedanta Sutra 2.1.1 is also explained by Vyasa in this verse. We have already seen four Vedanta Sutras are there in the first verse itself. So in essence, this Srimad Bhagavatam is explaining establishing Bhagavan Sri Krishna as object of this book. Let us meditate upon the absolute truth Krishna, who is the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction of this universe as the material and efficient cause, since he is the only knower of all objects and the only independent being, who reveals the Vedas to the Brahma within his mind, who is difficult to understand even for the learned, whose body is thought to be made of matter due to illusion, just as one mistakes fire, water, earth for each other, and who negates all false arguments regarding his existence by possessing a transcendental, inconceivable form, and by the strength of the devotees experiencing him through his Sarupa Shakti. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives another explanation of the same verse, where Srimad Bhagavatam is establishing Krishna as, in the earlier sense, we have seen Brahman, Paramatman, and Bhagavan. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, wherever you see, it is at all Brahman and Paramatma is described, it is only to glorify the Supreme Lord as Bhagavan form. So among these three forms of Krishna, Bhagavan form is what this Srimad Bhagavatam is established. In the second explanation, Supreme Lord as Krishna is the object of this book. Satyam Parama Dhimahi. Let us meditate on Krishna, who is known as Satyam. So in Srimad Bhagavatam 10-26, the demigods explain about Krishna, O Supreme Personality of God. So Satyam Param, Satyam, Satyam. In a whole verse, there are 9 places where Krishna is addressed as Satyam in one verse itself. So clearly, all the demigods are saying that Supreme Personality of God as Sri Krishna is the absolute truth. So this verse should establish Sri Krishna as the object of this book. In a second, like that, so we have seen in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many discussions going on by various devotees, Narada, Parikshit, and what you call all these devotees, Vidura, all these things. So they are establishing the 9 limbs of Srimad Bhagavatam for the glorification of the 10 limbs. So there are 9 limbs of Srimad Bhagavatam: Sarga, Visarga, Satya, Satam, Poshanam, Kutaya, Manvantra, Ishanukata, Nirodha, Mukti. So these 9 limbs is holding for the last limb, Ashraya, the supreme center of the Supreme Personality of God. So we in the Srimad Bhagavatam, as I said, the entire banyan, we are describing the limbs of the banyan tree. So what is the purpose of explaining the limbs of the banyan tree? To completely explain about the banyan tree. So individual limbs are okay, but doesn't give the complete if it is not glorifying the entire banyan tree. So all these devotees in the Srimad Bhagavatam are trying to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Damna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. Yahu Svena Damna. Through this abode Mathura and by revelation of his form, his devotees. Sada Nirasta Kuhakam destroys the ignorance concerning himself. So Mathura is a place of essence of spiritual knowledge. This is generally when we go to Dham like Mathura, Vrindavan, we may see people moving here and there, doing all the things, dust around, monkeys here and there. It is the material covering of the actual Dham. We are not seeing the actual Mathura or actual Vrindavan Dham. But actual Mathura Dham is a place where entire essence of spiritual knowledge is established there. So when a devotee understands this and establishes himself, then his entire illusions are get destroyed. So all the ignorance gets destroyed in the Mathura Dhams. So Tejo Vari Pradam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Amnusha Yatra whose body Trisargo Tejo Pradam Yata Vinimayo. Though appearing to be material to the demons, Amrusha is not temporary at all. So the demons like Trinavrata, Bhutana, they all considered this Krishna as a material boy. So he is a small boy, few months old. He's like just an ordinary human being. So let us go and kill him. Like demons or non-devotees, always think that Krishna's body is material, which is absolutely not. Janma yasya atayo anvaya itarasya asya janma adyataha. Who after appearing in Vasudeva's house, Janma yasya, after taking birth in Vasudeva's house, what did Krishna do? Itarasya anuyat. He went to Nanda Maharaj's house by crossing the Yamuna River. Arteshu Abhigna Swara. So Arteshu Abhigna means knowing how to cheat Kamsa. So why did Krishna cross? Why did Krishna cross again the Yamuna to reach Mathura? To cheat Kamsa. So he went to Nanda Maharaj's house and went back again to Mathura when he was young. So why did he do all these things? He is knowing that how to cheat Kamsa and knowing the appearance of these devotees, Prema in Vraja. So there are devotees in Vrajabhumi who are waiting for appearance of Lord Sri Krishna. So in order to satisfy the devotees, he crossed the Yamuna river. He remained there because of his own people. Like because of the love of the Vrajavasis, he remained there for a quite long time. Because he is bound by the devotees. As we all know, Krishna is only bound by his devotees. When we see the Damodara Leela, where Krishna is bound by the rope tied by Yashoda Mata. So clearly it indicates that Krishna is only bound by his devotees. So even though if he is bound by the devotees, he is still independent. He is so we should not think that Krishna is dependent. Though he willingly depends upon, he bounds himself to the devotees. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Mutyanti Yat Surya Yah Tene, and who revealed Brahma. The cows and calves were actually the supreme Brahman. So here Brahma means supreme. The Brahman here, Brahma makes Krishna showed his form in Brahma Vimohan Leela. We all know Brahman Vimohan Leela. So where Krishna bewilders Brahma by showing that his forehand Vishnu form. Actually, all these cows are none other than Supreme Brahman. Adikaviye, by his will, into the Muhyanti Atsure, which bewilders even persons such as Narada. So we have in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many stories where the devotees are also confused. By in the Brahma Vimohan Leela, even Balaram was also confused. What to speak of all others? Balaram is confused. So here clearly we can understand that the cows and calves are supreme personality of God, Param Brahman expansion. That's why our Shastras say we should do cow protection. Go Brahmana Hitaya. Krishna is Go Brahmana Hitaya. He is well-wisher of cows and Brahmanas. That's why he expanded in the form of his cows and calves. Satyam Param Dhimahi. That's the third. It is the third verse, third explanation. So where the Srila Vishwanath Thakur is explaining that this Srimad Bhagavatam is also describing about Madhurya Rasa as the object of this book. Satyam Param Dhimahi. Let us meditate upon Krishna. It is straightforward. We should meditate on Krishna. Tanmad Asya Ato Anvaya Itarasya Yataha, from whom Janma arises. From whom what arises? Adyasya. So Adyasya means Adi Rasa. So generally we say, actually Bhima's original name is Bhimasen, but we generally call Bhima and Bhima. It is not his original name. It is Bhimasen. Similarly, Adyasya means Adi Rasa. Together forms Adyasya. So what is the Adya Rasa? Among all the 5 primary rasas, Rasa exchange with the gopis is the highest. It is Madhurya Rasa. So this Madhurya Rasa is coming from Sri Krishna. So this verse should actually glorify this Madhurya Rasa as the object of this book. Anvaya Vitarasya, how this Madhurya Rasa is explained, expressed through meeting and separation. Shastakam also we see there is separation, then there is meeting. So devotees exchange their love when they is getting separated and meeting again. So this Madhurya Rasa grows by this process of meeting and separation. That is Anvaya Itarasya. Arteshu Abhigna Swara. Arteshu Abhigna. Who as a hero most skillful in everything related to Rasa. This Krishna is the hero of all the Rasas. Swara is beyond the material gains. So all the material, he is beyond the material Rasas. That is what explained in Arteshu Abhigna Swara. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikave Muhyanti Yat Surya. Yah Hridaya Tene, who conveyed Adikave. Here Adikave is referred to Bharatamuni. So Bharatamuni is the one who developed this Natya Shastra. Bharatanatyam comes from this Natya Shastra. So among the Natya Shastra, Bharatanatyam is the highest. So where though material rasas are exhibited by Bharatamuni, Krishna says that all this, even material rasas, existed in the spiritual rasa, which was imparted to this Bharatamuni by Sri Krishna himself. So here Adikavi is original poet of Madhurya Rasa is Bharatamuni. So here the Brahma is Madhurya Rasa highest, about which other poets are bewildered. None of the poets could understand this rasa. Only Bharatamuni propounded this Natya Shastra. So Sri Krishna, through his mind, explained his spiritual rasas to Bharata Muni by mind transfer. Tejo vari mrudam yata vinimayo yatra trisargo amrusha. Tejo means in whom alone arises three types of literary meaning in extraordinary forms. So any poem, poem has three qualities, three components. One is Vani, or how we are speaking. Vani means how we are speaking. Like we can say it's a body language. The guna and alankar, the ornaments. So these three components together forms a prose or a poetry. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this Srimad Bhagavatam is the highest of all the poetries. So we can see entire verses. There are where Amarendra Prabhu, His Grace Amarendra Prabhu clearly says in one of the sessions, each and every verse has its own independent meters. So like Janmadesya has 1 meter, other has 8 meters, 16 meters, 20 meters. So this Srimad Bhagavatam, the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam is the highest poetry. So if anybody wants to listen, have as an affinity for the poems, pick up the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the highest poetry which one can get. Namna Svena Sada Nirastakuham. Sada Nirastakuham, one who defeats the withered arguers. Svena Damna, by the extraordinary influence of the experience of the Madhurya Rasa. So this is what Krishna is here, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti is explaining about this verse. Actually, this first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is establishing Madhurya Rasa as the object of Srimad. The fourth explanation of Vishwanath Chakravarti, he says, Radha and Krishna are actually the object of his. So in Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 30, 27, 28, we can see that gopis are searching for Krishna. All the other gopis are searching for Krishna. And one of the gopi sees two footprints on the soil. So clearly seeing that footprints, they come to the conclusion that, oh gopis, see here, there are two footprints over here. They are so close that one is putting hand on the other. Definitely one is Sri Krishna. We can by the footprint, it is very clear that it is the footprint of Krishna. The other should be a gopi. So they are growing together by putting hands together. So that is clearly indicated in 10.30, 27, 28. So actually this verse glorify the Radha and Krishna as a supreme Lord, supreme object of this book. Virasta kuhakam satyam param vimahi. Virasta kuham, without deceit. Satyam in correct matter. Param, aspiring the highest goal, vimahi, and meditate on. So actually this book is glorifying Srimad Radha and Krishna as the object. Janmad asya. So Janmad asya yataha from whom Janma arises. Adyasya again Madhurya Rasa. From Radha and Krishna's combination. This rasa is being exchanged between Radha and Krishna. That is Adyasya again Madhurya Rasa. So from this Radha and Krishna is coming the Madhurya Rasa. Anvaya itarascha, by giving up the other gopis. Itarascha means giving up the other gopis and following only her, Anuvaya. So what happens is in Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 30, 32, 31 and 32, it says, this boy, intelligent boy, here we can see that there is only one toe over here. It clearly indicates that Krishna is standing on one leg and trying to pick up these flowers. For who? For his lover, Radha. So here, that's why it says, Arteshu Abhigna Swara. Krishna is described here as Dhira Lalita. As Dhira Lalita, he showed his expertise in the chief aspects of rasa. So Dhira Lalita means one who knows how to love his lover. He is Dhira Lalita. then Krishna is explained as Dhira Lalita over here. But Swarat means here the Radha is the Swarat. She is also explained as Swadhina Kanta. So she can control Krishna. Radha is the only one who can control Krishna. He is independent. So this verse clearly indicates that Radha and Krishna is the object of this book. Tene Brahma Hrudaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yat Surya. Yaha Tene, Krishna imparted through the heart of Adikavaye. Sukadeva Goswami, knower of the rasas. Sukadeva Goswami is the knower of all the rasas. The Brahma, Srimad Bhagavatam. Muhyanti Yat Surya, by which devotees faint in ecstasy. Srimad Bhagavatam 1:3-40 itself says that this Brahma is Srimad Bhagavatam. So this Bhagavatam, containing all the rasas, were imparted to Sukadeva Goswami. As we know, all this pastime of birth of Sukadeva Goswami, even after 16 years, he was inside the womb, fearing that he might be contracted with 3 gunas, Rajo, Tamo, and Sattva Guna. So he did not want to come out of the womb of his mother. So Krishna comes there, explains the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam inside the womb, he is beyond these 3 modes of material nature. So reading all these stories, stories of Srimad Bhagavatam and his devotees becomes ecstatic and almost faints. As we know in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he used to hear about pastimes of Dhruva and Prahalad. He used to repeatedly hear this pastimes of Dhruva and Prahalad Maharaj and became ecstatic. His ecstasy was going on increasing. So similarly, devotees who read Srimad Bhagavatam, their ecstasy goes on increasing and increasing. Tejo Vari Mrudam Yata Vinimayo and undergo transformation. Tejo Vari Mrudam Yata, just as fire, water, and earth reverse their properties. So sometimes we know that water flows in the liquid state, but out of ecstasy, it becomes a solid. Sometimes the rock, hearing this Bhagavatam stories, melts into water. So it is as good as saying that the materials, everything loses its own property and becomes another property. It transforms into another state, leaving its own state. That's like in the pastime of Sukadeva Goswami. So when he came out of the womb, he was going to the forest. He was beyond his 3 modes. So he was passing through these groves, and Vyasadeva was chasing behind, "Oh son, and oh son." But who was replying back? It is the trees who were seeing the glories of this Sukadeva Goswami has replied back to the Vyasadeva. Tree actually is inert. It cannot move and talk, but it has loosened its property and it was speaking it. So like that, by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we can dwell into ecstasy. Yatra Trisargo Amrusa Damna Svena. Yatra Svena Damna means by whose influence Trisarga, 3 Shaktis, Sadamrisha, remain, the 3 Shaktis remain eternally. So what are these 3 Shaktis here? It can be Lakshmi, queens, other queens, and gopis. It can also be external energy, and marginal energy. Here, Trishakti means external energy, and marginal energy. The 3 energies of this Krishna, they remain eternally. So we have seen that Radha and Krishna are the supreme object of glorification in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The 5th verse, 5th explanation of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is, it actually establishes bhakti as the vastu of this book. So Satyam Param Dhimahi, meditate upon the most beneficial spiritual path. So you have, as we know, you can attain Krishna only by spiritual process. So what is the spiritual process through which I can get the Krishna? Which should be beyond the 3 modes of material nature. The only the bhakti is which is beyond the three guna. So here actually the Bhagavatam is glorifying bhakti as the object of this book. Tanmadhyasya yato anvaya itarascha yata adyasya janmaha means which brings about appearance of the Lord. So this bhakti, through this process of bhakti only, Supreme Lord Sri Krishna can appear. In Bhagavad Gita, we have seen till the first 6 chapters. So where Krishna said, he was explaining about Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, all those things. Ultimately, in 6.46 and 7, it clearly mentions that only Bhakti Yoga is the highest, and one who performs Bhakti Yoga, a devotee, is the highest among all yogis. So clearly, it means that only by the process of Bhakti, we can attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like Vasudeva, Devaki, they are devotees. So what Gauranga Das says, that Devaki represents the devotee and Vasudeva denotes the spiritual master. Because of the mercy of the spiritual master, the Krishna within the heart of the spiritual master appears in the heart of a devotee. Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. So this devotion towards Krishna is obtained by the mercy of the spiritual master as one, not as Paramatma or as a Brahman. So even though by which the realization of Brahman and Paramatma in the process of Jnana Yoga. So Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga and Karma Yoga, though they reveal Brahman and Paramatma, but there are traces of Bhakti Yoga. So the primary in these three yogas, there is a small Bhakti Yoga there. Even that small trace of Bhakti Yoga is the actual cause which reveals to that Karma Yogi or Jnana Yogi the Paramatma. It is not the effect. It is not by his own endeavor that the Karma Yogi and Jnana Yoga are getting this Brahman and Paramatma realized. That Bhakti Yoga, though it is in the trace, it is actually giving that realization. Actual realization which Bhakti Yoga gives is the Bhagavan form. Tanmadhyasya yato vinaya means Bhakti Yoga reveals that appearance of the Supreme Lord in our hearts. Artheshu Abhignaswarat, which is complete knowledge independent of other process. This Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.12 explains about this. So many people will say that by process of Jnana or by process of Karma Yoga, I can come to the stage of Bhakti. I can know Krishna. It is not possible. This clearly refutes the statement. By Jnana alone, one cannot attain this Krishna. Only we can get the knowledge of who we are. So what is our relation? But 7th chapter, the first verse says that only by the Bhakti Yoga only by his devotees can Krishna be known. In other yogas, we will know only Paramatma and Brahman. Actually, what Balram Shakti Prabhu says that in the scriptures is also mentioned. So Paramatma and Brahman is in the material world. So Krishna comes into this material world as a friend and sits as a Paramatma. But in spiritual world, there is no such requirement of Paramatma sitting inside the body. So in the spiritual world, there is no Paramatma and Brahman. It is only in the material world. So when we know about Brahman and Paramatma, we are still in the material world. But when we know the Bhagavan feature, then we will be moving into the spiritual world. This Bhagavan feature can be known by his devotees and by the process of Bhakti Yoga. This is what this verse is saying about. Tene Brahma Hrudaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yat Suraya Yah Tene, which was revealed, Brahma Hridaya by Narada to Vyasa. Adikavi. Vyasa is the Adikavi. He is the writer of this Srimad Bhagavatam. Muhyanti Yat Surya, but which is bewildering to even great sages. Actually, what happened is Vyasadeva, so he's after segregating the four Vedas, he was writing the Puranas for different classes of people. So he wrote all the Puranas, but he was not satisfied. He was still morose. If the author of the book is itself morose, how can the reader of the books will be happy? So when he was rejected, Narada Muni came. So Narada Muni came and imparted Chatusloki Bhagavatam to Vyasadeva. So based on this Chatusloki Bhagavatam and Vedanta Sutra, he commented, he rewritten Srimad Bhagavatam again, which became the Amala Puran. So without the devotee's intervention, earlier when he wrote the Bhagavata Purana, there was no devotee intervention. That's why it was not properly guiding. But when Narada Muni, supreme devotee, has imparted Vedavyasa, that knowledge, then the Bhagavatam became the Amala Purana. So one may argue that Vyasadeva, you know that Vyasadeva is Satyavesha incarnation of Sri Krishna. How can he be guided by another person? Clearly says that without the devotee intervention, it is not possible to understand Srimad Bhagavatam or for the matter of Bhakti Yoga. So, as we have seen, we have spoken about earlier, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata. Without a Guru and Krishna, we cannot get the Bhakti Lata. So, without the devotee, we cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Tejovari Nuda Yata Vinimayo, which is not mixed with this Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhakti Yoga, is not mixed with three gunas, Rajo, Sattva, Tamo. But one may say that in third chapter, third canto, where Kapila Muni was explaining to Devahuti, Bhakti in Tamo Guna, Bhakti in Sattva Guna, Bhakti in Rajo Guna. He was explaining to Devahuti. One may argue that you are saying that Bhakti is beyond these three modes, but Kapila Muni is saying that Bhakti is in the three modes. So actually, it is wrong understanding. It's our wrong understanding. Bhakti is not in the three modes. It is the practitioner of the Bhakti who is in the three modes. We are in the Rajoguna, Sattoguna, and Tamoguna. So we are actually practicing Bhakti according to our nature. But actually, this Bhakti Yoga is beyond these three modes. Where Krishna asks Arjuna, go beyond these three modes. Only by this Bhakti process, one can transcend these three modes of material nature. Damna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam, and which defeats its opponent Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. Svena Damna, by its very nature of giving direct experience. So we know Krishna in this Kali Yuga has come in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the devotee incarnation of Sri Krishna. So see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he defeated? He explained the bhakti. By practicing himself, and he was destroying the faith of all the Mayavads. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, various pastimes were given. So by this process of bhakti, one can directly defeat his opponent. So there was one incident with Prabhupada, where all the yogis, Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogis, all the Siddhi Yogis were having a meeting. So Prabhupada, he was asking to this devotee, to these yogis, explain about Sri Krishna. So all these yogis said, Sri Krishna is so huge, so magnificent that we cannot explain him. It is impossible for us to explain who is Sri Krishna. He is beyond all our conceptions. Then what did Prabhupada do? He called a small child, a few 4 or 5 years old child. He said, I will ask you a question. If you answer me, I will give you this cookie. So Prabhupada asked, explain Krishna. Who is Krishna to this little girl? Immediately the girl said, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even a small child could defeat yogis. How could a small child defeat them? Because of this practice of bhakti. Even a small child can refute all the misconceptions in the entire world. So actually, this Srimad Bhagavatam is actually describing about the bhakti as the object of glorification. So the 5 layers we have unpacked here. The Srimad Bhagavatam is establishing Bhagavan as the object of this book. It is establishing Krishna as the object of this book. It is establishing Radha and Krishna as the object of this book. It is explaining the Madhurya Rasa as the object. Ultimately, it is a bhakti which is being glorified in this Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we go, this is what about the first verse. So actually, the first verse is so huge that it generally takes around days and days. The glories of Srimad Bhagavatam is never ending. But I tried to complete it in an nutshell, an overview in the interest of the time. So actually, it is covered in a huge way. So we have seen that overview of what this Srimad Bhagavatam is going to offer. So that's what Prabhupada was mentioning in 1.2. It establishes the Lord Sri Krishna in your heart. So when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, it establishes Krishna, Bhakti, Bhagavan, all these things in our hearts. So in the second verse, the greatness and sweetness of Srimad Bhagavatam is displayed. Dharma projita kaitavar tatpramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavam vastu sivadam tapatrayon moolanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kim va parayar Ishvara Sadhyo Hruday Avarudyate Atra Prithvi Susrubis Tat Krishna. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is the Grantavatar of Sri Krishna. So when Parikshit Maharaj was exploring the whole world, he meets cow and bull talking to each other. So they were talking. After bull is asking, to whom did how did Krishna appear? Where did Dharma take shelter when Krishna disappeared from this world? So where did Dharma take? So when the discussion is going on, it is explained that Sri Krishna has come in the form of a Grantavatar. So in Narasimha Leela, he protected Prahlad Maharaj. And in various other Leelas, he protected Ambarish Maharaj, all the devotees. As Ram, as Parashuram, you can see all these avatars. All these avatars clubbed together is in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So all these avatars put together, effectiveness, all these avatars are there in this Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Grantavatar. This destroys all the Kaitava Dharma. So in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it says Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Raja Aham Tam Papebhyo Mokshami Masutsa. Krishna is asking to remove this dharma. How can we remove this dharma, false dharmas? By associating with Srimad Bhagavatam. It Kaitava Dharma. It removes all the Kaitava dharmas, all the irreligious dharmas. We know that this Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna's body himself. Pado yadiyo pratama vidyo tritiya suryo katito yad guru navis tada panchama evasto bhujantaram dora yugalam tatanyo kantastu rajan navamo yadyo ukaravindam dasama prafullam ekadasa yasa lalatapattam siro pi tu dvadasa eva bhakti. So first and second are lotus feet, 3 and 4 are thighs, 5 navel, 6 is a chest, 7 and 8 are arms, 9th is a throat, 10th is a lotus face, 11th is the forehead, 12th is this Srimad Bhagavatam is the entire body of Sri Krishna. Just like when we do Arati, we do it from the lotus feet to the lotus face. So we have to read Srimad Bhagavatam from the canto 1 to up to the canto 12. So it is the crown jewel of all scriptures. It is Amala Puran. It is beyond the 3 modes of material nature. As we said, how Vedavyas has compiled this Srimad Bhagavatam again based on the instructions of the Narada Muni. So it is the essence of all scriptures. When you read Srimad Bhagavatam, it is as good as reading all the scriptures, Puranas. No need to read all the scriptures again. Commentary, because even it says, Vedesa Sarve Aham Eva Vedi. By all means of Vedas, I am to be known. Krishna is to be the known. And Bhagavatam is the Supreme Lord himself. So there is no need for going to other scriptures. Srimad Bhagavatam alone is sufficient. It is a commentary on Vedanta Sutras, which we have seen earlier. So, what is Lord Chaitanya's conclusion on this? Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajastanasya Taddama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajagadu Vargena Va Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tattradara Nahapara. So, what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying? Object of worship should be Sri Krishna. Who is the Sri Krishna? Son of Nandana, son of Nanda. Dhamma is Vrindavan Dham. The highest upasana or worship is that worship performed by Vrajavasis or Bhakti Yoga. Pramana, spotless authority. What is the authority? Srimad Bhagavatam is the authority. The goal of life, Artha, is pure love of God. That is the goal of our life. It is not merging with Krishna. The pure love of Krishna, which gopis are trying to experiencing, that is the goal of our life. See the Rupa Goswami. We are all called Rupanugas. We are all followers of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami has given the 64 links of the devotional service, out of which 5 are primary. Rest all follows. These 5 are the primary potencies of bhakti, forms of bhakti. So what are these? Sadhu Sangha or association of devotees, Nama Sankirtana, chanting of the holy names, Bhagavata Shravana, hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Mathura Mas. So when we read Bhagavatam or when we are practicing devotee, Krishna stays with all of us. So even our existence becomes the Mathuradam or physical Mathuradam. Can be both. Sri Murti Sadhya Sevana, deity worship. These 5 are the primary limbs of the bhakti. So Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the essence of this bhakti. So to perform bhakti, we have to read and hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. Krishna's Tulya Bhagavata, it is even explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita 24, 318. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the highest, and each and every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam can be explained in a multi way in devotion. That is what Chaitanya Charitamrita is explaining about Bhagavatam. So who can understand this Srimad Bhagavatam? Nirmatsaranam Satam Vedyam. So it is who is free from all material envy, who are the well-wishers. These are the 3 characters who strives to establish the competitionless society. So here it is summarized as given 3 levels of non-envious. So we should be free from our material envies. I am this body, I am this owner, all these things. We are envious. So we are all well-wishers. We should be well-wishers of everyone. We should strive to establish a competitionless society with God in the center. This is how Srimad Bhagavatam can be understood. But we may ask a question. I am not envy free. I am full of envy. Lust, anger, greed, envy, all sitting inside me. So how can I understand Srimad Bhagavatam? When we read Srimad Bhagavatam, the envious nature is removed first. So Srimad Bhagavatam itself removes the envious nature, and then it establishes well-wishers as well-wisher, and we can understand Srimad Bhagavatam in more detail. So even though if we are envious, we should read Bhagavatam to remove our envy. So here, in 5.18.9, where Prahlad Maharaj is also saying, let everyone be non-envious. This Srimad Bhagavatam, this Prahlad Maharaj is saying, let this entire world be non-envious. This book destroys the nature. Tapatrayon Moolam. So development of this transcendental consciousness, grounded in conception of Achintya Veda, simultaneous, one and different, leads one immediately to the stage of freedom from threefold measures. Actually, this transcendental consciousness of Srimad Bhagavatam will elevate all of us from these 3 modes of material nature. So when we are beyond these 3 modes of material nature, all the miseries are destroyed. So actually, this book destroys our miseries. Krishna appears in your heart. Prabhupada is saying, Krishna is appearing in our heart. Then Krishna will. So it is also said, this Srimad Bhagavatam is like a lamp, Adhyatma Deepam. It destroys our ignorance by describing absolute. Destroys all our ignorance. Om Agyan Tingiranasya. This destroys our ignorance. It is like sun, which destroys all the misconception of demons as demonic material. We have seen material, thinking Krishna as a material form, as an ordinary human being. All other ignorances are removed, just like the sun removes the ignorance, just like sun removes the darkness of ignorance. This Srimad Bhagavatam is Kalitam Phalam, is a matured fruit of the Vedas, all the Vedics. So it is like mango, which doesn't have a shell, fluffy. You can eat this fruit from any direction. It's possible. You can release the same sweetness. Srimad Bhagavatam is like that mature fruit, is a pure bhakti. Just like this Mohini avatar, Mohini gave nectar to the Devatas and not to the demons. This Srimad Bhagavatam gives the essential nectars to one who is devotee and not to the trans. It cannot reveal itself, it will not reveal it to a non-devotee. So one should be a devotee following devotion to understand the Srimad Bhagavatam. Gives the nectar up to the devotees. So how should we read this Srimad Bhagavatam? With apt concentration. So take Srimad Bhagavatam, read Srimad Bhagavatam with apt attention. Read through the slokas, completely immersing yourself inside. So should we do research, or will it reveal? All the research is being done. There is no further research for us to do. All Vedic scriptures are after the research is done. So there is no question of research in this Srimad Bhagavatam. Maybe this, maybe that. By all means of speculation, we try to research whether this is right or not. There is no need to research. When we are reading it with devotion, Srimad Bhagavatam reveals itself. Just like how do we approach Krishna? Krishna reciprocates to us in a similar way. Just like that, how we reciprocate with Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam reveals itself to all of us. Nigama kalpa tarur galitam phalam sukha mukad amrita dravya samyatam pibada bhagavatam rasamalayam muhur aho rasika bhui bhavaka. So Srimad Bhagavatam is a sublime literature which surpasses all the way, as we have seen. Not only that, Srila Sukadeva Goswami is compared to the parrot, not because he repeated Bhagavatam just like that. Just like a parrot repeats, it's a same thing as spoken. But Sukadeva Goswami is describing the same Bhagavatam which is pleasing to all classes. So when we explain about Srimad Bhagavatam, anything, it should be appealing to all the listeners. So that's why Sukadeva Goswami is compared to the Sukha or parrot. This Srimad Bhagavatam is relevant to all of us. It is relevant for everybody, not dependent upon any social caste, color, etc. It is the teacher, friend, and lover. The Srimad Bhagavatam is a teacher, friend, and lover. This is quoted in Tattva Sandarbha from Mukta Phale by Hemant. The Srimad Bhagavatam is teacher, friend, and lover. So it is a dearest friend as well. So how can this be a dearest friend? How can I reciprocate this Srimad Bhagavatam as friend? We should make friendship with all the slokas. In one of the sessions by His Grace Amarendra Prabhu, he said how to read Srimad Bhagavatam. He said, take a verse, take the verse for translation and purport. Put here your name, here so and so, and the purpose, yours, Srila Prabhupada. So treat each and every verse and purport as a personal letter sent by Srila Prabhupada. If Srila Prabhupada were to send a letter to all of us, how do we treasure it? So we treasure it with great love and affection. You see, we read it so again and again. What is Prabhupada writing here? So we should read Srimad Bhagavatam like here, so and so, verse, yours, Srila Prabhupada. This is how we can make friendship with Srimad Bhagavatam. These are the entire, in a nutshell, of the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, greatness and glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So here I will open this forum for question and answers and suggestions. Hare Krishna, Lilananda. I try to repeat whatever I heard from the sessions from Balram Shakti Prabhu. If at all I have committed any mistake or gone any offenses, please forgive me and take the essence like a Paramahamsa, which takes the essence milk from separates milk from the water, just like the Paramahamsa. Please separate the good from the whatever bad if I have spoken. Please ignore this bad and forgive me, as you said.
Hare Krishna. Anybody? I mean, I'm speechless. I would like to say some things, but anybody else?
It's just Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Santosh Aditya Prabhu. It's an amazing session, Prabhu. Amazing session. I think it's so eloquent. So much you covered in a short time, covering
Yes.
the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam,
Yes.
connecting to so many verses, so many, research points which explain about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam in a condensed version, Prabhu. I think it's amazing. It's amazing.
Actually, it will take months and years to understand the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah,
So I took one small lecture and I'm trying to share whatever I could in this work.
Yeah, as the PowerPoint is very good. The whole the connect of the sequence of the event is very good. It's amazing, Prabhu. I think you have so much love for Bhagavatam, and you have so much depth of understanding of the glories of Bhagavatam. I could really hear that, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. I think it's almost listening to like 7-8 lectures. They're all condensed into one really lecture. I mean, I could really see that one. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Satya.
Yeah, thank you very much, Santosh Prabhu, Mahesh here.
Yes.
And Satya Prabhu, you correctly, reflected the same information what I was supposed to say. But whenever any Bhagavatam related queries are there, just for information, Aditya Prabhu has been helpful in providing any Bhagavatam doubt. I generally reach to Aditya Prabhu, so he has been helpful. And I see the same thing, the love and the interest what you have towards Srimad Bhagavatam in the session you provided, Aditya Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Actually, after this session only, my affection for Bhagavatam got increased. So I thought if I share this one, it may add some value, may trigger some point, so that at least one devotee will take up this Srimad Bhagavatam. That's all the only point.
Yeah, surely, I think if you have, your love is still more increased, probably I will ask more doubts in coming days, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Very excellent class. Thank you very much for bringing so much of knowledge in this 1 hour. And I can see, so much research has gone into it, and so many Sanskrit verses you have recited, so many cross references. I know. I was remembering Lilananda Prabhu when we started Bhagavatam, he asked, did you already finish first verse? And I said, yeah, we finished already first canto, first chapter. And now I'm realizing what is the depth of the first and second slokas. I know that Prabhupada wrote big purport. We just went through it. I can imagine the depth and, the introduction given by Srila Prabhupada and the purports and then the cross references. Very nicely put together. And on time. That is very, very liking it. Thank you very much for doing this. It's very excellent, detailed, and a lot of knowledge to all of us. Thank you very much.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Vishnu Chakravarti, all glories to Vaishnavas.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, very nice. Really detailed and very crisp to the point, basically. Wonderful session. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Very good session. As Praveen Prabhu was saying, first time I realized it's so deep, the first 2 verses itself. And request is, can you share those summary slides, Prabhuji, because those explanations.
Surely, Prabhuji, I will share the PPT with you.
Actually, just, and are there more actually? Because just that, so did you cover it all, or I'm just, it's made me think that, more, so that we can spend more time to discuss.
Yes.
Because there's so many different angles. Amazing.
Chaitanya Charitamrita, as you said, each Bhagavatam is so great that each and every verse can explain in so many ways. Chaitanya Charitamrita is itself saying. So it is not, there is no point of completing Srimad Bhagavatam. It reveals itself to all of us as the stage progresses.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, Santosh Aditya Prabhu, I would like to congratulate you personally. Congratulations is the right word, because you have pleased Krishna, no doubt, by speaking about the first verse. You have pleased Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's ecstasy can be seen in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? How he wanted to tell the world everything in the first verse itself, everything in the first purport itself. In conclusion, I can tell that, if you leave your body now, in the next 1 minute, you'll go back to God. But this is the consciousness of appreciation for Krishna and his devotees and Srimad Bhagavatam. This feeling, the surrender that you currently have after giving this session. I mean, this is the consciousness we should carry at the time of death. With your permission, can I just share a few more reflections,
Yes.
Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Yeah, not that, just few things, like Bhagavatam is called Paramahamsa Samhita, right? So many people think that Bhagavatam can be understood by everybody and anybody. Well, it can be, but only under the direction of devotees. It is called Paramahamsa Samhita. Now, when we say Paramahamsa, unfortunately in Kali Yuga, even that word is so cheaply used today, where everybody calls himself Paramahamsa. Do we even understand what is the meaning of Paramahamsa Samhita? This is a book of Paramahamsas. So in devotees, there are 4 levels. Scriptures explain there are 4 levels: Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Parivrajacharya, Paramahamsa. Right? Kutichaka means a person who declares that now I'm going to give more and more time to God, and actually I'm going to completely give my 24 hours to God, and within his house he keeps a certain room especially for himself, like a bhajan kutir inside his house. So whole family is there outside, but he loves that room. That's called kuti chaka. Inside the kuti, there is a chaka. So that is first level of devotion, right? And more advanced than him is somebody who leaves the house. He's bahudaka, meaning he goes outside the house, and somewhere in the corner of the village or outside the city, he has a small place where he goes, and that he considers his bhajan kutir, bahudaka, right? And he stays there. He rarely comes home. People go and meet him there. That's his retirement done. And then higher than that is Parivrajacharya. Parivrajacharya means the one who leaves that place also, and then he goes around the world, around the 7 oceans. He goes around the world, and he keeps on glorifying the Supreme Lord, spreading the message of the Supreme Lord. And he has no other goal in life. He's completely materially dead. There is no material identification for him. He's completely on a spiritual platform. That is Parivrajaka Acharya. And higher than that is Paramahansa. Paramahansa means he is not only going around the planet, he is going across planets. Right? He is going like Narad Muni. He grows from one planet to another planet to universe, another universe to this universe, and he explains the glories of Supreme Lord. So when we glorify Srila Prabhupada, we say, Namam Vishnupad, Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya. We say Paramahamsa and Parivrajacharya also to Srila Prabhupada. Why? Because Prabhupada is somebody who is not identified as somebody who belongs to this planet. He has been going around the planets. Wherever Krishna wants, he is deputed there. He goes around the planets, and is also a great Acharya here. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is actually Paramahamsa Samhita, meaning when Paramahamsas come together in the evening, they discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. It's like the highest literature. Every word chosen is beyond beyond the conception of any materialistic person. Actually, materialistic persons cannot touch it. They cannot get it. It's like a iron sealed box which cannot be opened by a materialistic person. Only by a devotee's mercy it can be opened, and it starts revealing. Like at the end you said, it's a revelation that comes. You can't learn Bhagavatam reveals itself. You can only pray that please reveal yourself to me so I can perfect my life. So nicely you explained, Prabhuji. And even Srila Prabhupada, when he wanted to cross the ocean in Jaladuta, it is explained that when he was packing his things, at one point Prabhupada felt very tensed that how can these people understand my accent? They might have a Bengali, thick Bengali accent. How can they understand? I don't know whether I'll be able to do what I'm trying to do and all that. Then he looked at Bhagavatam. He had already translated the first canto. So he looked at Bhagavatam and he said, Bhagavatam is going to speak to them. Now I'm taking shelter of Bhagavatam, right? So Bhagavatam is actually taking me to America. That is how much Prabhupada, kept his full faith in Bhagavatam and took full shelter of Bhagavatam. And, of course, I can tell you that the first verse that he told Prabhuji covers all the cantos of Bhagavatam. It covers all the rasas of Krishna. It covers everything that we need to know. It's beyond the three modes. Like in between, he explained. Krishna says to Arjuna, beyond the three modes, you have to go beyond. Traigunya Vishya Veda, Nishtraigunya Bhav Arjuna, Nirdvandva Nitva Sattvasto, Niryoga Kshemam Atmavan. Krishna says, in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, he says that Arjuna, you have to cross over the three modes. You can't be in the three modes and try to perform the duty that I'm asking you to. This war has to be fought beyond the three modes. You can't be in mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance to fight this war, because this war is not a war; it's a bhakti. Entire scripture is a bhakti scripture, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj will be so happy with you today, because when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj was asked to do a Bhagavad Sapta, and he did it near Vrindavan or Govardhan, somewhere there he did. And I heard in a lecture that 7 days he spoke and he only finished the first verse in 7 days. Bhagavad Sapta got finished with one verse of Bhagavatam, right? That is how much importance, and he said, I am forced to stop my Sapta in 7 days because he only given me 7 days. I'm still not finished the first verse, and Prabhupada also, was approached by many filmmakers saying that we'll make a movie on Bhagavatam and we'll make Krishna Lila. Prabhupada said, no, start from the first verse. Then I'll allow you to make a movie. They said, no, but Prabhupada, we can make on Krishna, how Krishna appeared. Said, Krishna comes in 10th canto. First is lotus feet. You have to make a movie at the lotus feet, of Bhagavatam. You have to start from first verse. So no wonder nobody could dare to do that, because you can't present Bhagavatam in a picture form just like that, because it can't. And one more thing, Prabhuji, the most intelligent people come to devotional service. It once again proved when you were speaking today how much intelligent people can actually spend time understanding this great scripture, right? A lot of people think that intelligence is in material knowledge, trying to understand the world the way it is, but that is not intelligence. Really the most intelligent take actually time to come and sit down and understand the Srimad Bhagavatam, and do the study like the way you did, right? And you know all glories. My only humble request is, you finish Bhagavatam. Before you breathe the last breath, finish reading Bhagavatam. One, don't think about how you want to go for how much you understood, how much it can't be. It is a Paramahansa Samhita. You can't understand. You can't say that I've understood Bhagavatam. There is a devotee in Chowpatty. I heard when I was in Yatra one day. I don't know his name, but he said he finishes Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita every single year, and he's been doing it for more than 30 years. And still he feels that he has not read Bhagavatam. He's still, every time he starts Bhagavatam, he's like, I'm going to read it for the first time. And 30 years, huh? No kidding, 30 times he has finished 12 cantos with purpose, with all explanation, and still his thirst for understanding Krishna has not gone down. That is mercy of Guru and Gauranga, that he is being allowed to read. So I think all our goal in this call should be, no matter what role we are, whether it's a CEO, CFO, or a peon or a clerk, it doesn't matter. These all things are immaterial. We are spirit soul, and we are children of Krishna. We have been given this material body to, as a machine, like Krishna says, yantra, to cross over this ocean of birth and death, only to read Bhagavatam. Only to read Bhagavatam. If we have read Bhagavatam, we have achieved the goal of our life. Finish Bhagavatam. My humble request to everybody on this call is, put a time for yourself. Put a time for yourself, that I want to finish this in 2022, or I want to finish it in 2023. Put a target. And I'm so happy actually that in our satsang, many devotees are gone past 5th canto, 6th canto, sometimes they tell me, when they finish the canto, the Prabhuji, I finished this canto today. I'm like, wow, yes, keep going, don't stop, keep going, finish it, and I'll tell you, Prabhuji, you will experience an amazing blessing when you actually finish Bhagavatam. It's like you can experience it. It's like, energy coming, falling on your head, saying, like when we go and hug our mother, or we hold our mother's feet tightly, and she cries holding you, you experience a blessing. It can't be explained in material words. I'm telling you, Bhagavatam blesses. When you finish Bhagavatam, that last verse of Sankirtan, the conclusion of Bhagavatam, that Sankirtan is the final activity to do, and you close the last page and the last cover, and then you are a different person. Yeah, I'm not saying you'll become the purest person, but um, there's something different that happens to you. I personally have experienced it. um, Still I'm so ridiculous that I don't give as much time for Bhagavatam I should. We all should finish it. We all should read it at least once before we die in this life. And for sure, if we have read Bhagavatam, um, we are going back, Prabhu. I mean, there is no doubt about it. We should have that faith and confidence. We are going back. This is the scripture. Uh, Amazing, Prabhu. I think the whole idea of we starting this Bhagavatam classes in the morning, Saturday and Sunday, right? You literally kept the icing on the cake today. That if this is how my Saturday morning is going to be, hearing from devotees Srimad Bhagavatam, I don't think there is anything more worthy to do on Saturdays or Sundays. Just do this, finish your 16 rounds, and hear Bhagavatam. Amazing. Thank you, Prabhuji. All glories to you. All glories to Prabhupada. All glories to the all assembled devotees. I'm so grateful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, second, first is the Kutti Chaka. What is the second one?
Bahudaka.
Bahudaka. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
So who is this?
Prabhuji.
Praveen
from Aparna. Much
It's for the 4 levels of the sannyas ashram.
Yeah.
No, I told that because we use the word Paramahamsa. Unfortunately today, if you go and type Paramahamsa in YouTube, you don't want to see those characters. They'll appear. So we need to understand when we say Paramahamsa Samhita, what is the level of a Paramahamsa to speak that word Paramahamsa or Maharshi or Parivrajak Acharya, very loosely used these days.
I want to add Lilananda. Actually, in the first 3 verses, Prabhupada has written purports, so many pages we have seen, right? In Bhagavatam itself.
Yes,
What kind of explanation? Almost 60 pages close to, all these 3 verses. Prabhuji, Santosh Aditya Prabhu put it in a nicely, single condensed format, and he connected dots, he covered most of the topics, Prabhuji. Thank you, Santosh Aditya Prabhuji.
First of all, I was hesitant to take this topic in this 1.5 hour session. This Giriraj Prabhuji, who has said, please go ahead with this verse. Please go ahead. It's only Giriraj Prabhu. Because of Giriraj Prabhu, I am speaking here.
Nothing. We are all here, Prabhuji. And Lilananda Prabhu is there. Senior brother. That's yeah, we are all here. Thank you so much for a wonderful session, Prabhuji. I am very happy for you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Mahesh here, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Lilananda Prabhu, for the explanation what you have given, I just wanted to add, I don't know whether it's a question or a statement. We need to finish Bhagavatam in this life and we need to go back. For that, given a choice, number 1, finishing Bhagavatam. Number 2, doing seva. Service. Which one we need to prioritize? You have time.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
No. I know. I don't know whether it can be called as a service, Prabhu. But the thing is, the preference should be given to do service or to read Bhagavatam.
Prabhuji, ultimately, for service is not pushing us to read Bhagavatam. There is something wrong in the service. I would put it like that. Either the service is not intended well or not being performed well. Ultimately, when we perform service, and Krishna is pleased, he will pull us to Srimad Bhagavatam. He'll pull us like you. It's not possible that you're doing service and you're not reading Srimad Bhagavatam. You have to read it. It both go together. So will I do only service? Will I only read Bhagavatam? A person who doesn't do service can't read Bhagavatam. That also I can tell you. He can't. Maybe he'll start. Maybe he'll start few chapters, few cantos, but at some point, it'll become dry for him. It'll become dry. A lot of people read Bhagavatam and tell, Prabhuji, Prabhupada's purports are all same. He's telling the same thing. He's telling the same thing. I don't understand why we are reading all the purports. We can as well read the translations. There's no need to read the purport. This is what happens. This means their service is not, what do you call that? The service is not being done in the right spirit. We are serving, but the motivations are not to please Krishna. The motivations are many. Also to please Krishna, but many other motive, recognition, whatever, and some kind of a mode that is driving you to do that service. But when we start performing service only to please Krishna, sacrificing our comforts, and as a tapasya, when we start doing service, then it is not possible that we will not read Bhagavatam. As soon as we see Bhagavatam, we'll run towards it. That day will come, Prabhuji. You have to wait. You need that patience. You have to continue to do the service. It doesn't mean that am I doing right service now or not, where I should do it now or not. We should continue to do the service and try to assist the devotees who are doing the service and try to engage many others in the service. All the three things should happen. You assisting somebody who's performing service, you performing service, and also engage others in service. When Krishna sees that all these three things are happening, he will develop the interest towards Srimad Bhagavatam, and you will read Bhagavatam. And you can't stop reading Bhagavatam, when that happens.
We have three statements. Why? Very good.
Prabhuji.
Sorry,
Hare Krishna.
Santosh Prabhu, you want to add something? I just spoke. I'm sorry. You are the one who is.
So, what you said is that's just Prabhuji. So day by day, when we read Bhagavatam, canto by canto, or day by day, you can see the changes happening within you as well.
Yes.
We cannot, once it starts, we cannot leave the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the truth.
Yes,
Mataji.
Sheila.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah, today after hearing Santosh Prabhuji's version, I feel I'm very intelligent. I have chosen Bhagavatam.
Haribol.
Yes. One who is intelligent, he can choose Bhagavatam. And in one verse, he has explained so nicely. That means now that I feel it is really, I'm really intelligent. I have chosen Bhagavat. This is Sheila Mitra.
Yes, Sheila Mataji, and the most intelligent decision you made is to join the morning sessions.
Yeah, because that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling today by hearing this. So I'm really intelligent. I have, because last version I have lost, somehow I have missed it. But today's version really is feeling really, it's an intelligent decision, and one should take this decision. Bhagavatam is our life. Bhagavatam should be taken as a part of our life, not part of life. It is our life. How Bhagavatam, he has explained, Sri Krishna is the total of Bhagavatam. His feet is a lotus, his face is a lotus. Same like we feel, if we see Krishna's face is Bhagavata, his feet is a Bhagavata, his total body, if we see Krishna, is a Bhagavata.
Haribol,
Haribol. So intelligent. So intelligently, yes, he has made the people ask to be intelligent, and okay, really, I don't know how do I can express by hearing this today's Santosh Prabhuji's Glory of Sri Krishna.
And Mataji, just imagine if you're going to continuously attend this morning sessions, you're going to you're going to hear 104 such lectures.
I know.
Plus how many Ekadashis? 26 Ekadashis. So 104 plus 26 is 130. 130 Srimad Bhagavatam classes in 365 days.
Yeah.
Just by attending the morning sessions. right? What else do we want?
After starting hearing of the Praveen Prabhuji's every Sunday's his seva, so I have daily at least one line of Bhagavata I try to read.
Haribol,
At least one line of one sloka and one purport. Translation, of course, it is there. At least try. So you feel so good, like, no? And it is a really an intelligent decision.
Yes, yes. And you are with the best person. You are in the shelter of a best person like Praveen Prabhu and Suma Mataji. They are not only teaching Bhagavatam, they're also practicing, they're reading themselves. You know, Prabhuji is going canto to canto. I think he's surging towards what, 7th canto now? Prabhuji, where are you now?
Hare Krishna, I'm in 6th canto, I'm
6th canto, Hari Bol. You know, it's not ordinary. You know, I can tell you on this whole planet, you can literally count and tell there will not be more than 10,000 people who have finished the entire Bhagavatam on this whole planet. Right? And Krishna is going to make a note of that in his special notebook, who those 10,000 people are. So we should be the next 10,043. There are 43 here. So 10,043 people who are finishing Bhagavatam. Yes, that should be our goal. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So tomorrow's session, Haribol, please, please do join. Tomorrow is Varada Krishna Prabhu, a very, very pure soul, and serving. He's dedicated his life for Krishna. He's a Grahastha, and he's dedicated his life for Krishna. He's played different roles in our society, from a temple president to a festival coordinator to a congregation development, to everything he has done. So many families he has touched, and we can say that he's a Bhagavata to speak about Bhagavatam. Right. So tomorrow, please don't miss the session, 7:15. And every week we are going to have, by Krishna's grace, Radhesham Prabhu is so excited that we are doing this, inviting speakers, and we are internally. I'm going to share this session specially to Radhesham Prabhu. He'll be so happy just to see the way it is presented, because he likes that way of analysis and putting things together. Right. So we're going to see so many speakers who are going to come on Saturdays and also on Sundays and also on Ekadashis. So please don't miss these sessions. Take out your time. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatasya. Yes. Hare Krishna. Anything you want to conclude, Prabhuji? Santosh Aditya Prabhu, or anybody else wants to say anything?
As you said, Srimad Bhagavatam concludes with Kaler Doshan Ide Rajan. So, Asti Eko
Mahan Guna.
Kirtaneva Sadahari. Only the entire Srimad Bhagavatam ends with the chanting of the holy names. That's what is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Satyadev Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhuji, one small question. Like when generally they say that we have to read the Bhagavatam from 1st canto to 12th canto, but in case if I am interested to read cherry pick some stories like Vamana Dev story or Narsimha Dev story or Narsim Leela, so is it an offense to read in between stories, or is it okay to or we should only read in a consecutive manner?
Absolutely no offense, Prabhuji. You can read any way. You can take up Vamana's pastimes or Dhruva pastimes. There is no restrictions. But Acharyas warned that before going to 10th canto, you have to finish all the 9 cantos. Without that, we should not go into 10th. Rest everywhere, it's a nigam of phalam. You can eat from anywhere. So you can pick up any verse, any places, any pastimes. You can summarize. There is no offense.
Prabhupada once became ecstatic, and he told in a lecture where he was telling his disciples, please read Bhagavatam. At that time he said, I'm remembering this, that Prabhupada said that if anybody reads Srimad Bhagavatam, he's going back home back to Godhead. And then he looked at everybody and he said, if anybody even reads 1 canto of Bhagavatam, you're going back home back to Godhead. Right? And then after some time, Prabhupada became even more merciful. He said, anybody who buys a Bhagavatam and tries to read some pages, he'll go back home back to Godhead. And at one point, Prabhupada became so ecstatic, so merciful, that he said, if anybody touches Bhagavatam, he's going back home back to Godhead.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
And that is the reason, in book distribution, Vaisheshika Prabhu says, first put the book in their hand. They have touched it. Prabhupada, Jai. So job is done. That is the faith of devotees. But you are so fortunate. We are reading it actually. Hare Krishna. How rare is this? Thank you, Prabhuji. Let's say 3 loudest Hari Bols to Santosh Aditya Prabhu. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hare Krishna.
Santosh Aditya Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All goes to Srila Prabhupada. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. All goes to Srila Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Bol.
Jai, Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.